Hi, as we know, June 5th was World Environment Day. But are we really taking care of our environment? Are we really loving our environment? Are we really protecting our environment? That is the question. If we see the current situation, it may be a little tricky because the COVID-19 situation is because we were not careful enough of our animals, of our plants, and the things that were nearby. We were just concerned about being and getting more things out of nature without giving anything to nature in return. So we have to maintain the equilibrium. We have to give something to take something. So that we need to maintain. So let's imagine after the COVID-19 situation, what can be done? So we have heard a lot about planting trees. So if you are planting trees abundantly, nicely, and in situation where trees are required, then we can understand that how planting trees can protect a lot of the environmental pollution that's been there. We have to reduce pollution. We have to start from our home. We cannot forget that the fact that one tree, one life. So even if you're planting a tree at home, that's for the good. Also trying to protect the wildlife. Try to be part of the whole and the larger community. Try to communicate with the larger community in the whole by doing some bit from your own. If you can be in a helpline, if you can help support the animals around there, please do it. Don't kill animals uselessly because it disturbs the equilibrium. So everything you do counts for the nature. So to protect the nature, it's very important to understand where we stand. If we stand as humans, we have to be empathetic. We have to give nature. So start giving nature to get back things in return. We have to remember this very nicely when COVID-19 ends. And we have to also see that everyone around us tries to imbibe this and apply this in the long term. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is NEHA. Currently I am pursuing my degree in psychology. My academic interests lie in the intersection of behavioral science and psychology. I am a passionate mental health advocate at the community level. I also work with the Spring Foundation where I assist the underprivileged with their overall development. Also, I am very enthusiastic about gardening and about restoring this ecosystem, also sustainable development. So on this context, I would like to share my views on how I like to upgrade or restore our environment post pandemic. So within this last 1 year, during this entire global pandemic, we have seen a major change in our environment. We are seeing that rains are coming on time, there are clearer skies, the water bodies are pollutionless, the air is good around us. So these are all the effects of less pollution. So definitely these are some of the effect of less human devastation, because we are not going outside, we are in this lockdown now, there are not many vehicles on streets, so there are less air pollution. But there is a day which is coming when this pandemic will be over. So that day onwards we will again get back to our earlier life, and ultimately we will end up having pollution and all. So I think it is better that from now onwards we try to change ourselves. We all must have that mindset that no, we need to do something for our society, for our environment in which we all are living. So we need to restore our ecosystem from now on. So I would like to suggest a couple of points that is very important. First is waste management and second is reusing. So firstly, I would like to explain about what waste management is. So this is first of all one of the most important factors, because we should make sure that all the waste which is getting generated from our household should be degraded. So we should have a wet waste and dry waste. So if we differentiate it, it will be very easy for putting it into recycling and create a compost out of it. And whenever there is a recycling going on, and then after then there will be compost. So it will help in making fertilizers, and it will ultimately help the plants to grow. So if we do a tiny bit of our part, then it will be kind for our society, like we are doing something for our society. Out of our waste, like whatever we are throwing, we shouldn't just tie up in a waste into, like, you know, in a within a plastic bag and just throw away. I think it would be very kind of us if we try to separate the wet waste and the dry waste. So the wet waste will be going for the recycling, and it would ultimately produce fertilizers, and that would help the plants to grow properly. And then I would also talk about reusing. Like reusing means we should also, like, you know, sometimes we're going out for shopping and we are buying all costly stuff and all, but I think it is better that we don't expend so much. Like we should also, like, you know, minimize it. We should not buy everything and all. We should try to reuse whatever we are having at our home. Like we can also do a small thing, like we have newspaper. Everyone is having newspaper at their home, I believe. So we can just make newspaper bags out of that. So it would be like a very good thing, because we are not using plastic then. So this is the reason why I have suggested that it is preferable to use reusable bags. It is better that you use something that can be, you know, again used. Like poly bags or any type of plastic bag, it is harmful to our society. So it is better that we carry paper bags with us. So I think that would be a great idea if we just make something out of the old newspaper, because that will be, you know, something like we are recreating something. That is a very good thing to do. So I think recreation is needed to restore our environment, to prevent air pollution. Like we can do this, like sometimes when we are going out, we can avoid public transport or our cars or cabs. We can just go by walking, because it is obviously walking is very important for our physical health also. So I prefer that it would be great on our part if we avoid going by bus or by cabs or our cars, because that will ultimately produce air pollution. So to prevent that, we can go by walking. So these are the points. I think these are very important points. First is avoiding this air pollution so that we can get a clean environment, and then reusing, and then waste management. These three are very important. If we keep these 3 points in mind, I think it is like it will be very easy to, you know, get a better environment after this lockdown also, after this whole pandemic situation gets over. So I think this we can continue this thing, and we will ultimately get a better environment around us. Thank you.
Hey, this is SIVARAM. COVID-19 has given all of us time to think and contemplate our actions. So for the past 2 years, we've been able to, read a lot of articles, read more books, watch a lot of videos, and learn a lot of new things. For the past 2 years, we have been also noticing news like, the air is getting cleaner, or the rivers are getting cleaner. They are visible. Or you can even take the example of the Garimata beach in Odisha, which saw like millions of hatchlings of olive ridley turtles. But these 2 years of inactivity or reduction in activity is not going to help us mitigate for 200 years of exploitation and destruction of environment. So the post-COVID phase is going to be very important for all of us, because the production and consumption levels of goods and services is going to return back to normalcy, or is going to in fact increase. So thus it will just result in the pollution levels remaining the same or increase. So we have 2 main focus points which we need to focus on. The first one is advocacy. So what I mean by advocacy is, to this date, a lot of people involved don't know about environmental issues. So making them aware of these problems and letting them know the solutions is one of the main focus points which we need to focus on. And apart from that, the second focus point is to act or increase the impact. So for a lot of us who know about environmental issues and its problems, we don't act sufficiently. A good start is to make changes to our lifestyle or our consumption pattern to reduce our part in environmental degradation. Once we have achieved that, we can start advocating for environment and volunteer for environment, thus increasing our impact in environmental protection.
Waste management is a very important matter in today's society. Due to rapid and continuous increase in the population, the amount of waste generating is increasing day by day. Moreover, the increase in the amount of waste is affecting the lives of so many people who are living in the slums and are very near to the waste disposal regions. Therefore, they are prone to numerous types of diseases. Proper hygiene and sanitation is the only possible way with proper waste management. There are various methods used to dispose of the waste without causing harm to our environment and the surroundings. Like recycling, the most essential method is recycling. It does not need any type of resources and utilizes the waste material as well. And then there are landfills. These are more common method for management of waste. The trash gets suppressed in huge pits in the ground and then it is covered by a layer of mud. There is also a method of composting. It is the process of converting organic wastes into fertilizers. This technique increases the fertility of the soil. As a result, it is very helpful in increasing the growth of plants. There are various advantages to waste management processes, like decreasing the bad smell and reducing overall population. Also, it increases employment in the society because there are a lot of workers needed for this management process. Now we all know what is waste management and why do we do it. So we should always throw the waste in a way that the waste management people can get it handled and recycled. There are many ways in which we can cooperate in the process together to develop a green and clean society and the world.